When someone you love, when someone you love, that might be your child, your partner, your sibling, comes out as trans or starts identifying as the opposite sex, well, that can change your whole life. It might change how you speak at home. It might change which family members you feel like you can trust. It might even change your sense of who you are and whether your own beliefs and boundaries are safe to share. For many women that I work with, this isn't just about accepting someone's identity. It's about the ripple effect on every part of life. And you can find yourself walking on eggshells, editing yourself in conversations, carrying fears that you never thought you'd have. And if that's you, if you felt the pressure to stay silent, to smile when you don't feel safe, or to agree to things that go against your values, I want you to know that you're not alone and you're not wrong for feeling how you do. I've worked with women who are mothers, sisters, wives, grandmothers, all of them trying to make sense of a situation that's deeply personal but also deeply political. Because here's the truth, when gender identity comes into the family, it doesn't just stay a private matter. Suddenly there's wider expectations from schools, from workplaces, from extended family, even from strangers on the internet about how you should respond. And you might be told you have to be 100% supportive or you'll lose them. You might be told if you don't use the right words that you're a bad mother or sister or daughter. And you might be told don't bring this up at family gatherings because it'll cause trouble. And that makes you feel isolated, and it's frightening because the stakes feel impossibly high. Many women describe like a kind of emotional double life. On the outside, they're nodding and going along and being supportive. And inside, they're grieving not just for the relationship as it was, but for the loss of honesty, openness, and safety in their own family. And some women who don't go along with it, well, that's an even more tricky situation, but it's more authentic for the woman. One of the biggest challenges I see in my counselling work is what we call ambiguous loss. And that's the grief that you feel when someone's still alive, but the relationship's changed so much that it doesn't feel the same. With a family member who says they're trans, that can mean that you miss the way they talk to you. You miss the way they used to talk to you, and that can be just the way they interact. But it could also be because their voice has changed because of the drugs that they're on. You might miss being able to share family memories without feeling like you're stepping on a minefield, like dead naming them. You might miss their old personality, even if they're still physically present. And the hardest part is that you can't talk about it openly, because if you do, you risk being labelled unsupportive, transphobic, or you might even get cut out of relationships. So the grief has nowhere to go, and it gets stuck. And stuck grief often turns into exhaustion, depression, or anxiety. For many women, the guilt's constant, and you wonder whether you're doing enough, if you're a bad person because you feel uncomfortable, and you're worrying about what to say and saying the wrong thing and making everything worse. And that guilt is joined by fear. The fear of losing them, the fear of public shaming of you, and fear that your own children or your friends will judge you. And that fear leads to self-censorship, so you start leaving out parts of yourself, your thoughts, your values, even your humour, and you make yourself smaller in conversations, and sometimes you make yourself invisible altogether. But here's the thing, staying silent might feel safer in the short term, but it comes at a huge personal cost. Over time, it erodes your confidence, your sense of self-worth, and even your physical well-being. And that's why having a confidential, non-judgmental space is so important. In counselling with me, there's no agenda to correct your feelings. There's no pressure to think or speak in a certain way. My role is to help you untangle your emotions so you can make sense of them. It's also to understand the impact that this is having on you, not just the relationship. It's also my role to explore ways to keep your integrity without cutting yourself off from the people that you care about. And we talk about practical boundaries. We talk about grief and loss. We talk about how to keep your nervous system regulated so that every conversation doesn't feel like a battle. Most importantly, you get to speak freely, and that might be for the first time in months or even years, without fear of being attacked or shamed. Part of what we do in this work is to help you reclaim your voice. And that doesn't mean you have to start confronting people or having big debates. I mean, you might want to though. But it does mean that you start feeling safe to express yourself again, whether that's just in the counselling room at first, or with a trusted friend, or in your own journal, or indeed with your family members. And that choice is up to you. It's your life and you get to decide how you live it. When women begin to speak the truth, even quietly, something shifts. They start to feel more grounded, less reactive, and more able to navigate the complexities of family relationships. And you might still disagree with that family member and you might still find it painful, but you won't feel so lost in it. You'll have tools, perspective, and a sense of your own strength again. One of the biggest fears women bring in counselling is, well, if you focus on my own healing, it'll look like I'm giving up on them. Healing isn't betrayal. It's not about giving up on the person. It's about refusing to give up on yourself. When you're grounded, clear-headed, and emotionally stable, you're actually in a better position to respond to your family member with compassion and with boundaries. You're more able to decide when to speak, when to stay quiet, and when to step away from a conversation together because you feel like you trust yourself more. And you can't control their choices, but you can control how you look after yourself in that process. So if any of what I've said today resonates with you, I want you to know that you don't have to navigate this alone. In my counselling practice, I work with women across the UK and the world who are dealing with exactly these challenges, whether it's ambiguous loss, fear of speaking, family conflict, or the exhaustion of living in a constant state of hypervigilance. And there is a way through it. We can meet in line or in person, and our sessions are entirely confidential. We offer a free consultation so that we can talk about what's going on for you, and you can get a sense of whether I'm the right fit, and I can get a sense of how I can help you. You don't need to have all the answers before you start. You just need a place where your experience is valid, your feelings are welcome, and your well-being matters. So if you've been carrying the weight of silence, fear, or grief about a family member who says they're trans, just know that your feelings aren't wrong and your need for support is not selfish. Reach out, book that consultation, give yourself the same care and compassion that you give to everyone else, because your voice matters and you deserve to be heard. You can book that consultation at kellyoliverdougall.co.uk/counselling.